Non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Currently, sorry about all the kerfuffle that has happened lately. And right now we are on Kyalami, a historic Kyalami. Certainly got a track with a lot of history, and that is a jump start. So, what is happening here? There we go. And so, we're about to go racing. The lights are not available yet, but now we are underway, and it's a big accident at the start of the race. Nathan Out is coming into contact with Chris Bramley, and something is clearly wrong there.
Yeah.
And disaster at the first half of the lap there for Chris Bramley and Gene Siverson. We go to the lead of the race. Rob Derrick leads the race right now from Simon Cribb and Taylor Oakes. And we'll just assess the situation and see what's going on here, because this is clearly not in the script here, because Bramley is still there in the middle of the circuit in a precarious position. So we'll be restarting the race, unfortunately, for the umpteenth time, but this is due to different issues. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Attention, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now. essential personnel will evacuate now.
Irregularities there, ladies and gentlemen. We are now racing, well, nearly, in the Endurance League here at Kyalami. So on pole position is Oaks. Oaks. Not irregular for a number of reasons. Well, that was one way to enter the pit lane as we take another look at that and forced into the pit lane there. My gee. So, drama upon drama here tonight in the Endurance League. And down the inside goes Rob Derrick on Taylor Oaks as David Stevens celebrates like there's no tomorrow. And Trevor Wilson following suit as Oaks is looking for a way past Derrick. Oh, bump drafting through the corner. Very ambitious. So going down the front straight, there will be a lot of drafting here. How will it go there side by side? And Barry Stevens looking very worried. Says side by side down the straight. Someone's going to have to give in here. And just Taylor Oaks will not get it quite yet, but Derrick runs a bit wide. It's all on here and more here in the Endurance League. Go down the no, it's not going to work. Doesn't work at all. And now he loses ground to Rob Derrick as Derrick just extends his lead a little bit over. But he's found the weeds there. Some fine South African wine brewed there by the Hyper 4. And now the group is closed up a little bit with Bramley right on their tails. As is Trevor and Craig. So at the moment, the only person who is out of the battle group and not actually challenging for any position is my teammate Nathan Addis. But it's all on here, battle group of 4. Any one of these 4 could be leading at the end of the first corner. Oh, the draft is real as Wilson goes down the inside here. What's going to result of this? Oh, heavy braking, heavy braking. Oh, they just got away with it though. This is a hectic race at the moment. Yeah. Imagine when the A-listers get in these cars. That will be the goodest. That will be some. Taylor Oaks has lost position here, gone down to 4th. Battle group, however. So Bramley and Wilson challenging for position here. Will they collaborate together to stop the force of Derek and Stevens? Who knows? Or they can work against each other, but they're going down the inside. Oh, look at this, look at this. Oh. And oh, look at this. Derek is run wide. Wilson going down the inside on the gas. Give it some gas, come on. No, not quite. Derek just keeping it online there. Highlightings. And that is the sound of Nathan Addis going into the wall. Quote of the race, the driver of the race so far would have to be from either one of these three, but the quote of the race comes from David Stevens after the accident of Goodest. As Bramley goes down the inside, will he stick it up the inside of Bob Derek here? We don't know. But he got quite a good exit onto the front straight here. Front straight, which has a corner right there. Oh, look at this. What's going to result of this? Oh, side by side directly, going down the straight. Will he completely move around the outside? No, he won't. Oh. This is fantastic racing. Anyone would agree. From most of the people on the grid. And going back here. And Rob Derrick's actually lost position here to Chris Bramley. So Bramley's now in the lead from Rob Derrick. Trevor Wilson. And Taylor Oaks! Oh! That was ambitious there from Trevor Wilson as we go on board here. Riding the curb there rather aggressively. And just going back here to Taylor Oaks in 4th position. Then there's Trevor, and then there is Nathan Addis. Everyone's still in this. It's a very close event right now. Anything can happen in the sport, and it almost always does. Let's go back to the battle group. Let's sort of just dim down a little bit. But they can all change rather rapidly. And Bramley's just eking out a comfortable margin here. Wilson right in the right line. Oh. What's going to be the case going into the chicane? Nope, no rallying this time. But certainly Trevor Wilson is determined to get past Rob Derrick at the moment. Scott McLaughlin gives it some jandle, but Trevor Wilson gives it some gas. And so, oh, here we go. So Nathan Addis making a move on Trevor Christensen. What will result from this? A hideous crash. Oh, just about. But he will make the move around the inside. Brilliant move there from the Sandown 500 winner, along with David Stevens. And he's right behind Taylor Oaks now. And he's made the move. So Nathan Addis up into 4th position. Great recovery from that jump start. And certainly bodes well for the rest of the race, so long as he can keep it on the tarmac. But that's a bit of an unknown at this point. But again, he's not driving badly at all now. So, on for Young and Old right now, and he's closing up quite quickly onto Trevor Wilson and onto Rob Derrick. Bramley's just eking out a good gap right now. He's just made it over just over 3 seconds. He's got the fastest lap as well, so... Oh no, hang on, my mistake. fastest lap was actually with Nathan Addis of a 1 minute 4.8. Oh, running wide there. Only 10 minutes into the race, we've already seen so much action. What's going to be like at the end of this? No one knows. Well, that's an interesting line there from Trevor. And so it's looking to be a bit of an interesting race going on here in between Rob Derrick, Trevor Wilson and Nathan Addis. And what will result from a tussle here, if ever there will be one. It's close now, it's close. Wilson's right on him. The question here is, will Trevor try an audacious move, or will he just stay put? What will he do? Oh, run wide there for Derrick. And so it presents an opportunity for Wilson. Will he complete the move around the inside? Oh, just. Only just. So that's a great move there from Trevor Wilson as he heads into second place. And now Nathan Addis is going to be applying the blowtorch to the back of Rob Derrick. And Barry Stevens is biting his nails and is sweating over this because he knows the wrath of Nathan Addis is right behind his co-driver. But how will his co-driver handle it as he's going to go down the inside, well, the outside rather? Will he make the move stick? Oh, not quite. Oh, bang, bang. The LMP1 car is briefly becoming beach hoppers there as I hopped around turn one. And now it's closed up a little bit. I think Trevor made a bit of a mistake, and now Rob makes another one as he goes onto the dirt. It allows an opportunity for Nathan Addis. As he goes to the outside. No, not quite, but he is banging on the back bumper. Oh, both on the dirt there as Rob there goes back down the inside.
Wow, that's some good time.
And so Addis around the outside here, using grass and all the more. Oh, the spins around. Rob Derrick into the wall. And lucky to get away with that, not to beach it, and just missing out is Trevor and Taylor Oakes, who is having a bit of trouble in the back there. And anyway, back into second place now. Bramley is monstered away, but these two are still running rampant on each other. Oh, just touching down the front straight there, Nathan. No need for that. But there is need for a pass. Will he complete the pass going down here? No, not quite. Oh, just touching the back of his car there. Easy to unsettle these things. So, it's got to remain cautious. It's better to just remain put and pass when you can, rather than making an audacious move. All for nothing, but he goes down the inside, he makes a brilliant move, but Trevor gets him back on the exit. Trevor runs wide onto the grass, but now he hits him. Trevor spun off the track. And there'll be a bit of debate over that as to who's going to get the blunt end of the stick, but we'll just have a look at that on replay. And slow-mo action replay as he hits him, but then he goes down the inside. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be one to debate at the end of the race. And the gas car ends up more orange. Anyway, back to real-time racing, and Wilson is right on the back of Trevor. Craig, will he get the move done? No, not quite. Oh no, I take my word back. He's done it. Well done. and Wilson doing the Scandinavian flick. Wrong type of car to be using it in though, but it appears to have worked. But his rallying has not worked. That is very not goodest. That is very baddest for Trevor Wilson. He's demoted to 5th place, and now Taylor Oakes will be bearing down on him. So, massive lead for Chris Bramley, who is... that's not him. There it is. So he's entering turn 1 now. Using a bit of grass. That's probably been his greatest opponent in this race so far. Nathan Addis heading into turn 1 now, so there's 2 corners in between himself and the leader. Trevor Craig and Rob Derrick. I don't know whether or not he's gaining on Trevor, but certainly there's been a mix-up of positions now. Nothing is set in stone. It is all up for grabs and more here in the Endurance League. This is the potential of the racing here, and that's what many people love about this league. As Derek there, just once again treading grapes on the outside of turn 4. There's the chicane. Yep, does it well, but Trevor in the background there, just keeping it on the track. We're looking for an intriguing into the race here. And just come back there. Oh, yeah, here we go. So, it's the closest battle at the moment between Taylor Oakes and Trevor Wilson. The question remains, when the A-listers get into these cars, what will shake up as a result of that? Because Jen Siverson will probably be getting into the Audi in the lead right now. Josh Revel, who is, was me, will be getting into 2nd place. And Cameron Darlington's to 6th and David Stevenson's to 4th. So at the moment it's just sort of an unknown as to how the rest of this race is going to play out, but it's already very exciting. And it's certainly looking to be intriguing, but Taylor Oakes just running wide there, fertilising the lawn. And the lemon yellow Audi comes off 2nd best.
So on your screen right now we have Chris Bramley, who is currently at a 13.6 second gap ahead of Nathan Addis, who is currently sitting in 2nd position in the Hyper Stimulator number 27 machine. Currently looking like he's just taken, actually, I think he's lost a second there. Yes, he's lost about 4 tenths there to Chris Bramley, but it is an endurance race, so it is about patience and taking your time. Obviously, Trevor and Craig, who are currently in position 3, are holding a nice steady lead over Rob Derrick and David Stevens, who are currently sitting in 4th. Doesn't look like the gap is changing too much. However, as we get nearer and nearer to the pit stops, they shouldn't be too far away actually, although the fuel burn isn't actually 1-to-1, so we could be quite a while away as well, as everybody is quite spread out, although Trevor Wilson is not too far away from right there goes around Taylor Oakes in the number 3 machine, unfortunately. But anyway, moving back to the Trevor Wilson and Rob Derrick battle, looks like Trevor's just gained a little bit there, not too massive, but it is only a matter of time before he eventually gets onto the back of Trevor. And it actually appears like Rob is catching Trevor Christensen, who is sitting in third, so they might actually be up for a podium here. But we'll have to see what happens. As Chris Bramley has just started the 18th lap, Nathan Addis is coming onto the front straight now, so that is quite a margin. It is actually quite close, the gap. It's not fluctuating too much, so we could be on for a good race here if the gap does close down in these final stages of the race. We are about 30 odd minutes into this race, so still ways to go, but we'll have to see what happens when the faster drivers, myself, Cameron Dance, David Stevens and Josh Revel jump in the cars, as well as Simon Cribb and Craig Priest.
The Endurance League. That didn't go very well, sorry about that. As we focus back onto the leader of the race, Chris Bramley is just monstered away from everyone and is just about to lap Taylor Oakes by the looks of things, so very good race so far from Bramley, and question remains, will this remain come the round of pit stops when he will get into the car next? Because if he can gain the car back with a fighting chance of getting back into the lead when his stint comes along, they could be in with a shot here, so yes. going to be very interesting in that regard. Anyway, we're just going to have a chat now with Cameron Dance, teammate of the person who's just now been lapped, Taylor Oakes. And he's got his head buried in his arms, and who could blame him? Maybe Taylor. Well, anyway. So, Cameron, not the greatest start to the race, but from a championship outlook, I mean, there's a long way to go, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, championship-wise, there's still plenty of races to go, and I mean, I don't know who's going to be my partner for the next 2 rounds or so, but we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I'm jumping in the car next, so hopefully when I do, I can make up the time lost and hopefully recover to a decent spot.
Yes, well, the same applies to a couple other people in here as well. As at this moment, if it were to remain like that, the positions anyway, Nathan Addis will be walking away from here with the lead in the driver's standings. Now, despite the horror that may present, how do you think this championship will play out? Because it's just on for young and old, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of a guessing game, really, as to who's going to take the championship, because you've got a different partner each time and of different varying skill levels.
Well, you didn't.
No, not this time.
You got Taylor Oakes again.
Yeah, thankfully, but yeah, it's just going to be a matter of obviously who's your partner, really. I mean, we look at this time when you've got obviously yourself and Nathan partnered together, and Rob and Dave, whereas last time it was Nathan and Dave, and myself and Taylor and Rob and Brad Jessen, wasn't it?
I believe that was the case, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you've got the likes of Chris Bramley and Jen Severson, Trevor Christensen and Craig Priest, and Trevor Wilson and Simon Cribb racing together. Obviously that won't probably change due to
just the location where they are.
Yeah, location-wise, but otherwise it's actually going to be pretty close. I mean, anyone can take it at this point, but yeah, we'll just have to see what happens, especially come the last race of the season, which is going to be 8 hours long.
Oh, I tell you what, it's getting close between these two, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really close now.
Rob Derrick and Trevor Wilson here.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor's managed to close that gap down nicely now, and he's actually close enough to actually make passes.
Derrick's just showing a vein on his forehead here. The pressure's getting onto this team as they go side by side down the straight, going into the braking area. Will either one of them end up in the fishing nets? No, they won't. Not yet. Well, anyway, Trevor's gone past him, so
yeah, but
that's a move for third. No, not third, 4th place. So, falling down like dominoes, really, these Auckland drivers.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, Rob's looking like it's a fair fight with Trevor, so it's close. You can't really tell who's going to be in front of who at this point.
Who's in the zoo, yeah. Now, the gap was close there. Oh, I was focusing on the wrong car, that's why. When will the next round of pit stops be? I think we must be nearing the time where these people will have to come in for their pit stops.
Yeah, there's only a handful of laps from what I saw, which was about 5 laps ago. So we are nearing that stage, but it's still quite a bit, there's ways to go still.
And so the driving's just gotten a little bit better. I mean, just having a look back there. Just going to have a look at the replay on Taylor Oakes, your teammate, ironically. He's mowing the lawn here.
Oh, mate, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's very difficult here because it's very easy to make a wrong move here. As we have another look at the replay here on Trevor Wilson running. Whoa!
Oh, and he's in the Armco.
And into the Armco, the Simba Armco.
That is a fair hit and a half, to say the least.
Yep. It's the circle of motor racing, that is.
Indeed it is.
And it moved nothing but the car itself because the Armco is pretty strong there.
Yes.
But nevertheless, give it some gas. Give it some gas. And fertilise the lawn at doing so. And
gotta be careful doing that. Don't want to do it too many times or you will get pinged.
And what happened at the Sandown 500 when you were very much fertilised the lawn with your Jaeger car?
We won't go into detail with that, but
Jägermeister.
Not the greatest drive from Dad, so. But oh well.
Doesn't matter if the just because it's got it on the car doesn't mean that you have to drive it like you've had a few Jaegers. I mean, yeah. I mean, I support Team Reindeer, but at least in this occasion I didn't jump into the trees in my race.
You do provide a good point, yeah, Josh. Yes, you are right.
No, I did that at Spa, but anyway, so sorry. Getting back here in the replay, it's just while we were going off topic, Rob Derrick tried to negotiate the corner by going onto the grass, which did not go smoothly. But Trevor's got to watch out here because that is the 5th time in a row that I have seen him do that. As Cameron Dance is about to get in the car now, as we look back. Sorry, just trying to find where everyone is here. Yep, so we're now on track. The pit stops are going to be happening now. Nathan Addis is coming to the pit lane, as is Rob Derrick and Cameron Dance.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've just executed our first pit stop. Some of them are still in process. And we've got the Brownlee-Siverson entry way out in the lead. They've yet to pit, so they've got a massive margin. I think Chris Brownlee at the helm there. Car's very, very fast, very, very consistent. And then from there, we now move on. Trevor and Craig. Trevor Zacko Christensen and Craig Priest in second. The Wilson Cribb entry with Simon Cribb at the helm in third in the gas car. And then we've got Josh Revel and yours truly, Nathan Addis, in Hyper 2, the Hyper Stimulator entry, number 27. And then we've got here car 4 pulling out of pit lane, getting absolutely monstered by the Wilson Cribb entry to go a lap down. This lap down thing's quite fascinating at this point, but I think that's just to do with timings and the fact they haven't pitted. And Dave goes over as he has huge contact with the back of the Wilson Cribb entry. It will be huge. Rob, of course, voicing his concerns there, sharing in the frustration. So we'll watch our leader, Chris Bramley, and see when he pits and hands over to Jen Siverson. Chris must be due in any lap now because he'll be starting to run out of probably tyres and the fuel load, of course, which is critical. You can run on canvas, but you can't run without fuel in the tank. Chris coming around. Is he going to pit this lap? And he hasn't. He's doing one more. Chris will be watching his fuel and calculating things out so he can get maximum mileage out of the tank. Our remaining time being 125 minutes, so he'll be trying to get down to 120 if he can, so that Jen jumps in and does one stint, and then he will jump back in and do the balance to home. Trevor and Craig still cruising around in second. They go past pit lane to complete lap 31. Their fastest lap of the race has been a 106. 106.6 it looks like on lap 7. And no, 106.166, I tell a lie, on lap 18. And they're cruising around still in the 107s, high 106s. Very, very consistent there. Chris Bramley's fastest lap, a 104.976. He's been incredibly consistent with his lap times. He's currently racing around on lap 33, sorry. On 32 he did a 106.7. So he's still showing that you can wring performance out of these tyres even when they're worn. The Wilson Cribb entry, Simon Cribb at the helm. His fastest lap is a 106.350, which was lap 9. And his last lap was a 107.3. He's hovering around the mid to high 107s. Still doing quite well. They must be about to pit. There's got to be people running out of fuel in the tank. It's going to get to a point where it's going to have to happen. And there's the Bramley entry into the pits as car 3 flies past to unlap itself. One lap. This will be interesting because the time taken in the pits is very long. It's nearly 40 seconds, which is going to put car 3, the Taylor Oaks Cameron Dance entry with Cameron at the helm, right there or thereabouts. Trevor and Craig may well have to pit this lap based on fuel. We'll just see how that goes. They're coming around to complete the end of the lap. Round onto the big long straight with the very gentle kink that is the famous 1979 Kyalami South African Grand Prix circuit. No, they've done one more as the Bramley Siverson entry rejoins, which shows you the gap they had. The Wilson Cribb entry just coming flying through. They're going to try and get them. This will be fraught with danger into turn 1. Simon Cribb on worn tyres. There he is, throwing it out wide, using all the track and half the dirt. And Jen, who's just taken over the helm there, may well be able to, on the fresh tyres, outdrive him. Simon, of course, on very worn rubber, having completed 33 laps on this tank of gas. Jen just going out very wide there, up on the dirt embankment. Don't get caught. There's a big step there. You just have to go at speed back down to the track. Josh Revel powering through. He will probably be Mr. Consistent. He is our rocket man. It'll be a battle between him and David Stevens to see who is the fastest out of the two top Hyperstimulator New Zealand league drivers. The step back down from them to the next level is a little bit of a gap. They've, of course, almost hit a ceiling at every track, though, which means that as long as everyone else works hard, technically, they shouldn't get further ahead. They should get closer. And Jen Siverson just going a little bit wild back there. That wasn't too good. Our leader, Trevor Christensen and Craig Priest, with Trevor Christensen at the helm. Trevor, a man of some ilk in rallying circles, back in the days of the Heatway Rally during the 70s and early 80s, back when rallying was proper, running production cars and travelling very, very long distances. Not like the modern era of WRC where it's short, snappy and all over in a few days, running a few hundred Ks from a central point. Trevor quite often used to start at the Auckland Domain and end up somewhere down near Christchurch. And he's no slug on tarmac either. The Wilson crib entry, completing another lap. They must be starting to run quite low on fuel. I don't think they did a cunning early pit stop. There was nothing there that showed up. 10 seconds adrift of Trevor and Craig's entry, with Jen Siverson at the helm of the Bramley Siverson entry in third. Josh Revel, some 8 seconds adrift of Jenny, back in fourth place. Dave Stevens showing as a lap down. So he's going to be working hard to unlap himself. Of course, that's a little bit fictitious because Trevor and Craig and Trevor and Simon Cribb are yet to pit. There's another off there for Jen Siverson. She's taken to the dirt embankment. Hopefully Josh got past cleanly. We don't want any cause for disaster. Trevor ringing one more lap out of the tank. Just one more lap. Gosh. And Simon Cribb just trying to get even further. Just remember, Simon, the stickers on the car say gas, they don't deliver it. Those tanks must be starting to get very, very low. It'll be at a point where there's only litres left. It'll be interesting just to get a time on the pit stops and see how that rolls, because they have run the tanks out dry. They should technically be somewhat longer in their stationary time. We'll just see how that rolls. I'll try and get a stopwatch read. Suspecting Trevor must be going to pit, but he's proven me wrong on a number of occasions. No, one more traverse. Did he pit early? He can't have. Surely not. No pit stop showing there. And the timing for Trevor as Simon Cribb comes in. We'll just get a read on his stationary time there. He's fueled up. No doubt the gas crew will be in there flat out, throwing a nozzle in the number 25's tank. Expecting around about 35 to 36 seconds as a stationary time. Le Mans rules, of course, dictate that you cannot change tyres and refuel at the same time. So the tyres will be done first, and then the fuel will be topped up. 27, 28 seconds a lap so far. Trevor Wilson will be getting in the car. The car's come down off the jacks. And they're dropping back through the field as they take off. 38 seconds. I would say 37 based on margin of error of the controller. Cameron Dance just making a move there towards the rear end of Dave Stevens. It's going to be quite interesting to watch how that little battle unfolds based on what we saw earlier in the night. This race, of course, shortened to 2 hours back from the usual 3 after we had a few issues at the 1967 Spa-Francorchamps, the very, very fast old Spa circuit. Side by side down the front straight, battling for sheep stations in 5th and 6th place. Side by side, Dave's just going to grab an edge there on the tighter radius, and Cameron's going to go for the crossover. It didn't quite work. This will be a sight to behold. Any moment, there could well be a recipe for disaster. Trevor's still out there. The wily old fox just cruising around, showing everyone how it's done. How many more laps can he do? Checking his times once more. The audit is going on. No, he's gone around again. He's not showing a single lap where he could have stopped. And he's still done a 108. There's life in the old battler yet. We've got comedy going on here. I assume that involved Dave Stevens and Cameron Dance. Cameron just dancing through the S's there. Struggling for adhesion. As the battle, Dave just going out wide. And he may have made that look a heck of a lot easier than what it was. The battle group continues. Josh Revel now 8.5, 9 seconds adrift of Trevor Zacco Christensen and Craig Priest. Craig, of course, looking forward to taking the helm. There's Trevor and Craig coming round. I suspect very soon this car's going to start coughing, or they've found some sort of miracle that has given them what could only be described as a copious amount of laps. I did wonder if you could get to 40. Here they come, into the pits. Trevor Zacco Christensen slowing the car down. Speed limit here, because of the old F1 rules, is incredibly high. We'll just have a look there and see he's bringing it into a stop. Crikey, he's a long way forward. You're a long way up there, Trev. And in he comes, and bang, away we go. Tyres first and then fuel as Cameron Dance and Dave Stevens stream past to unlap themselves. They're still showing as 1 lap down. This won't be a level of comfort zone that they're familiar with. Jen Siverson flying through there. She's holding second behind Josh Revel. Trevor Wilson trying his hardest to come through, but I don't think he's going to get there. He's too far back. The stopwatch at 33 seconds. Any second now we expect to see this car flinch and start to move away. It's going to get to 40 by the look of it. There it was, 40.5. As Craig Priest takes the helm. It was definitely a longer stop there, and we'll see how all this unfolds. It's going to be massive to watch. The Wilson crib entry with Trevor Wilson back at the helm, fastidiously driving once more. Right there. Take a short break and let you ride on board for a lap with Trevor Wilson. Although it is for lap traffic. Oh no, sorry, it is positional. Cameron Dance in Hyper 3. The yellow and silver car taking on Trevor Wilson, who will have a 24-foot wide Audi R8. No, he hasn't. Cameron's just slided up the inside. Trevor moves over slightly to give him a bit of a gentlemanly lean into the wall, but that wasn't enough. Cameron will get him under brakes more than likely. Or will we have a recipe for disaster? Holy heck. No, we got away with it. Out of jail free. Josh Revel leads the field by a massive 51 seconds over the Bramley Siverson entry. Jen Siverson holding her own. They are a safe 12 seconds ahead of Craig Priest, who's driving the Trevor Zacco Christensen Craig Priest entry. And then we move back to the start of the lap traffic, which is car 3, the Cameron Dance Taylor Oaks, who somehow managed by random draw to get paired again for round 2. That's amazing. They got paired in round 1. This is full randomness. Trevor just trying to stay on the back of Cameron there, but I don't think he's going to do it. Cameron's turning out some lap times that really are the ore. He was quickest at the last round. This time he's done a 104.669, which is not as fast as we would have expected from him when you put that into consideration. Josh Revel, a 104.260 for fastest lap outright. And Trevor Zacco Christensen, the old dog, still learning new tricks. 106.166 for him. So it's all there or thereabouts. The Wilson Crib entry out of Capity, 105.759. 106.800 on his last lap. So Trevor's pumping out times within Killy, and Dave Stevens in a position where he usually isn't. 105.357 to be mid to back of the pack. That's not where he usually is. A big shout out to Robin, Dave's mum, who'll be watching in Tauranga. Loyal supporter of Dave and his humble efforts when it comes to racing. She'll be screaming at the phone, because that's how she watches a live stream allegedly, saying, "Go faster, Dave! Come on!" No, she won't. She'll be empathetic. We know her too well. So hello to you, Robin. Bramley Siverson entry in second. Josh bringing the car around into the clubhouse hairpin. It's a 100-kilometre corner. Some hairpin. As we move back to Jen Siverson, she's probably going to run a tank dry in this run, stretch it right out as far as she can, as close to 40 laps, and put Chris back in the car to finish. Whoops, there's a bonus chicane up the back straight there that no one had quite seen. What happened there? Watch the wall. That wall that divides the racetrack and pit lane has seen many a driver come unstuck over time. Cameron Dance chasing for position with Craig Priest. This will be an interesting battle to watch. Craig's pretty quick on his day. Done some rallying at club level. We won't talk about his stage times on State Highway 2, but he's not one to dawdle. We shoot back to the other Trevor, Trevor Wilson, at the helm of the bright orange Gasoline Alley Services car. Big shout out to Tim. Hello, Tim, if you're watching. Tim, the CEO of Gas, keeping a close eye on Trevor and his performances. No pressure, Big Rev Trev. Dave Stevens trying to make headway around the clubhouse hairpin. And here we go. Josh putting a lap on Cameron, or Cameron actually trying to unlap himself. He'll get the blue flag. Kyalami being very harsh on the drive-through penalties for that. This will be interesting to watch. He may not get a blue flag because he is a quicker driver, but you never know your luck or misfortune. Josh not giving a quarter. Josh, you should just let him go. He's a whole lap down. But Josh does not quit. Oh, they've come together. That wasn't too harmonious. Don't get stuck up there, Mr. Revel. Off he goes, back onto the track. Hardly any time lost. Still 1 minute 4 ahead of Jen Siverson. That may have closed the gap a little bit, back to under a minute. Josh will be seething, but he's biting his tongue. He's learning. We did threaten to make him the boy with tape on his face, but there's only room for one comedian in the world with that level of talent. So he is our leader as he starts lap 55, heading into turn 1. Jen Siverson bring the car out of turn 2 by the look of it. So she's about to go a lap down. Cameron Dance hustling, driving that car as fast as he can in his pursuit of Jen Siverson. I hope she makes it challenging for him to pass, just quietly. Not that the commentator's meant to have opinions, he's meant to be impartial. Cameron's just closing in there, and he'll catch a draft up the front straight and make that look quite easy to take second position. Right under the rear wing of the RDR8. Jen will be looking in the mirrors. She's blocked, and Cameron's going to try an outbreak round the outside. Let him go, Jen. There's plenty of crashes still to come. Craig Priest honing in on the back of Jen Siverson as Josh Revel brings his car in to put him a lap down. Look at him go. This is amazing. Round he goes. Craig, ever the gentleman, just not quite waving him through, but leaving a couple of gate widths of space. Into the clubhouse hairpin as the flags flicker in the wind. Josh now heading for Jenny. Watch out for the blue flags, my dear. Round the outside. Josh, the effervescent trailer park boy. There he goes. Off into the distance. Now this is interesting because this is now positional. So Craig's just snuck up the inside of the 22 car. Ooh. And Trevor Wilson is right there. The bunch are coming. Oh my gosh. Wilson trying to make his move. He can't get 2 cars in one corner, Trevor. He's a greedy bugger. And there he goes. He gets Craig Priest. The battle... No, he didn't. Not quite. Well corrected there, Rob Derrick. The monkey over my right shoulder, providing input. Always welcome. Into the clubhouse hairpin. Oh, no, and Jen's had a wee off. Oh, where did she... Oh, no, she's upside down. Don't dump her on the bank. No, no, no. Oh, phew. And we all breathe a sigh of relief as she does a little bit of off-roading. It is not the General Lee, but generally speaking, we have to get back to the track. Oh, and there's been a coming together. We missed that one. The Wilson crib entry has made contact with the Zacho Christensen Priest entry, and Trevor just being the nobleman there in the gas car. Waits and lets Craig get going again. How that plays out at the end of the straight. Trevor will be looking for the slipstream. He's not too devious. Here's an old hat, past Hyper Stimulator V8 Supercar Pro League champion. Going back to, I think it was 2009, before he relocated down to Kapiti and took a hiatus for a number of years. The battle is still very real here. So is the grass. That's very real, as you saw from the dust cloud. Trevor, just take a deep breath, mate. Gain some composure, and we'll get back into it. The gap is literally a car length. As I head up the front straight at Kyalami, Trevor will be pulling into the slipstream. No, he's not. He's pulling out of the slipstream. Looking to make the move at turn 1. Will there be the crossover? Watching Craig. No, Craig, that was a little bit dangerous. Almost side by side right the way through turn 1. 4th gear, turn 2. Heading down the hill and through the flat out left-hander in 5th gear. Trevor just grabbing an edge there as I head up to the 2nd gear clubhouse hairpin. Some 100 kilometres an hour-ish, mid-corner. On the power, no quarter given, no quarter taken. There's still a car length in it. If anyone puts a wheel wrong, a few k's an hour here and there lost will be all that's required. Crikey, there's a good set of tyre marks going into that corner from the coming together of these two cars, spearheaded by Trevor Wilson a couple of laps ago. Craig just struggling to latch on the back there, but the slipstream effect, once you get to about 300 k's an hour, is just tremendous in these cars. It's really, really good. Craig's just going to hover there. Keep pressuring Trevor. We'll see what happens. The gas car will be firing on full octane. There's nothing in it. Absolutely nothing. Oh, and Trevor has just put up a bit of a dust cloud there. Just going to take a brief break and leave you with these two as I get ready for my next stint. I think we just got to check and make sure everyone's happy. So I'll be briefly away from the microphone, and very soon I think you'll find Josh Revel taking over. I may make a brief cameo appearance before I get in the car. Watch this battle unfold.
maybe not. A bit gun shy. Is David Stevens. Not exactly having the best of nights tonight. Down in 6th position and last. So, not too good for the Pro League leader. And so, fantastically right now for Nathan Addis over Cameron Dance, who's still to come in for another pit stop. Trevor Wilson in 3rd, Trevor Christensen in 4th, Jen Severson in 5th, and Rob Derrick in 6th.
play here. I've just briefly got out of the car and handed over to Josh Revel in car 2 for the last stint. And Dave just gripping up and roly sausage poly. Over he goes. Wine Barrel Racing. Here he goes. So now he's going to have to do the work again. He's hunting down the Bramley Siverson entry, which is just a wee way up the track. Coming out of turn 2 there by the looks. Up through turn 3 and past the amazing BP signage. Obviously this being a retro track, it carries some of the old logos that you don't get to see too much anymore. There's nothing in it. The Wilson Crib. Zacho Christensen Priest entry. Very, very close together. We'll see how this plays out. It's going to be interesting to watch. Who is the quicker of the two? The slipstream advantage down the straight is probably just a bit too distant. Trevor Zacho Christensen and Craig Priest yet to make one more stop. They're going to run the tank as far out as they can. I don't know if that's a clever idea. I'd actually be pitting early. Oh no, it looks like there they put it on 81, so they will run it home. Trevor, of course, Wilson and Simon Cribb have pitted last time on 76, so that should get them home. It looks like they've short-stinted Simon. So this is real. This is for position. It's happening. This is a real race. There's no pit stops to get in the way. It's purely hammer and tong. And then we drift a little bit further back. Dave, they're about to get lapped. David Stevens, very, very uncommon for him to be in this position. He nearly hit the pit lane divider wall there, just pulling over and diligently letting Josh Revel through, to Josh's rapturous encouragement and thanks. Josh bringing our car home. The red number 1 dot just being shadowed by the white 6 on the map there, you can see. That being positional, of course. The new telemetry Josh has shared with us is actually very, very good. It gives a heck of a lot of data all the way through, sectors and everything going on, which is quite helpful. More than a simple man like me can digest. Trevor and Craig just pulling away from the Wilson Crib entry with a bit of a run back to the Cameron Dance Taylor Oates entry. Cameron back at the helm trying to carve it up. He nearly went over there. That is a very risque little corner. The Bramley Siverson entry, not quite sure where they are on pit stop strategy at the moment, but I think they've probably fueled it to home. It looks like, yes, they came in at the end of lap 67 and they are fueled to home. We haven't got a huge amount of time left in the race, some 14 minutes just approaching right now. 14 to go. Minutes, not laps. It's going to be interesting to see how the last little battle pack plays out with battles up and down the field. I would imagine Chris Bramley back at the helm of the number 22 car. Jen's probably headed off to bed, although the excitement of what's going on may mean that it's too much for her to sleep. A little bit further back to the Dave Stevens Rob Derrick entry. Dave currently at the helm, trying to carve his way back through the pack. Some 2 laps adrift, which, whoops, and somewhat wide. Billy Bowden would have been pulling funny gestures. See if he can roll through the S's again. We'll just follow him for a moment. He's had a bit of trouble at this corner. Coming up here. Stay off the curb, Dave. Yep, no worries. Do it anyway. These cars have massive amounts of grip, and when you turn them in, a small brake in the front end downforce creates a massive amount of uplift, making for some very, very spectacular rollovers. Dave, a safe distance back from the Revel Addis entry. Car 2. Chris Bramley having a wee off-track excursion there. Dave, following like a track's like. This is positional. This is actually a positional battle. 2 laps down, but going for it. Dave just trying to move. Chris trying to get the cross back. Dave's favourite corner there. He keeps it on 4 wheels this time and comes through. He's pulled quite a gap on Chris in a very short space of time out onto the big straight. Josh not too far ahead. Dave settling in, calming down and getting the job done. But with 11.5 minutes or thereabouts to go, it's going to be a big ask to rein in 2 laps. The leader would need to have what you could only politely describe as a catastrophic failure. Let's hope that doesn't happen. The Wilson crib entry, running around in 3rd place, tailing the Trevor Zacco Christensen Craig Priest entry in 2nd, and Josh Revel bringing car 2 round to put a lap on both these competitors, which he will safely do in the last 11 minutes of the race. Blue flags will be ablaze any minute for Trevor Wilson down in Kapiti. Hopefully he's watching the warning signs. A little bit of lawn cut, bit wide there for Josh Revel, what we would call an uncharacteristic mistake. But the mouth has stayed firmly shut, so we can keep the duct tape safely on its roll. Josh just honing in. Trevor Wilson, of course, is going to have a lot of things going through his mind in the 25 Gasoline Alley Services car, the bright orange and black beast you see there. He's going to be trying to catch a toe from Josh to gain an advantage. Oh, you've knocked him. That's huge. We might just have to have a wee word there. That's not ideal. Bear with me. There.
There's a couple of
Josh Revel, of course, making some contact with the Wilson crib entry. So Josh has just slowed down. He's a minute clear of 2nd place. So just doing the noble thing and readdressing. And then taking the position back again, albeit 1 lap down. Trevor just drifting slightly wide there. Bit of lawn inspection, turf management. Around to the clubhouse hairpin. That has, of course, given Trevor Zacco Christensen and Craig Priest a bit of a buffer. I think Josh was a bit caught out by the speed going into turn 2, and that's what led to the altercation. But a little bit of counselling, and he's elected to do the dutiful thing, albeit with tiny animosity. 8 minutes left on the clock. I wonder if anyone's going to have to do a splash and dash at the end, because these strategies will be starting to play out. I don't think they are. Dave Stevens just going a little bit wide there. And again. The Wilson Crib entry and the Trevor Zacco Christensen entry, of course, just battling there. There's a bit going on. Our telemetry's jumping around a little bit, which is a little bit disconcerting. I can't quite work out why that's happening, but here we go. Car 4 trying to unlap himself. Dave, mate, don't mean to be rude. It's almost a bit fruitless at this part of the point of the race. Too wide up the front straight. Dave, of course, will see the blue flags into turn 1 and face the risk of what could be a drive-through or a stop-go towards the end of the race. We'll just see how this plays out. Not quite sure who's on the fresher boots there. Just filing through the field. Josh Revel heads around turn 1. That's where the point of impact happened. With a Wilson Crib entry, runs it out very, very wide, making the commentator somewhat anxious. Very. Trevor and Craig cruising around 55 seconds adrift of the leaders in second place, with a bit of a gap back to the other Trevor Wilson and Simon Cribb. The lights ablaze and the Gasoline Alley Services Audi R8. Not quite sure what they're trying to prove. There's no traffic around them, but some differentiators perhaps needed to determine where the white lines on the edge of the track are. We're seeing a bit of dust bloom there. Trevor Wilson, no doubt, at the helm of that car. And then we move back to the Cameron Dance Taylor Oaks entry. By sheer luck, they ended up paired together for round 2. The same pairing as round 1, despite the fact it was a random marble draw. The luck of the draw is the luck of the draw. So they aren't quite getting it all their own way at this round. They're not walking away into the sunset. David Stevens and Rob Derrick coming around to complete lap 100 as we move under the 5-minute mark in the race. So we're now starting to get to the pointy end. It's all happening. We'll just take a brief break and let you ride on board, a lap with Josh Revel. Enjoy. or the last lap and a bit. We've got 2 minutes left on the clock. Showing Josh Revel still holding the lead. My trusty co-driver by luck of the marble draw, and the commentator's curse. A little bit of a wobble. We'll have a word to him. Joshua! Yes, I am bilingual. Right, so he goes round to complete, I think, what will be the last lap. 1 minute 30. No, I think he'll have one more to do. 2 laps to go. This is calculating here. There's some statistics at the top that says 105 of 107. I think it's forecasting what's going on. Trevor Zacko Christensen, the elder statesman from Hastings, racing live from Linden Road, alongside Craig Priest, the Argyle animal. He will be counting down the laps. Not much to go. Second place. Through the clubhouse hairpin. The Wilson crib entry just flicking up the dust there. And again, bit of RSI there in the background. Of course, Cameron Dance in car 3 here through the clubhouse hairpin. Currently sitting in 3rd place as Taylor Oakes gnaws his nails back to the first knuckle. Trevor Wilson fighting, because it's positional. He can see it, and he's trying. Gosh, he's trying. Don't overdrive the car, Trev. We know the rules. The faster we go, the bigger the mess. And then we move back to Dave Stevens and Rob Derrick as Dave takes the number 4 car through the clubhouse hairpin. And the Bramley Siverson entry does just a little bit of lawn mowing. Trevor's still in hot pursuit of Cameron, but I don't think he's going to do it. Josh Revel coming around with 0 seconds on the clock. I think this will be our last lap. It looks like it. As he heads round onto the front straight at Kyalami to take out round 2 of the Hyperstimulator New Zealand Endurance Race League. He wobbles the car to acknowledge the crew, and the checkered flag pops out. Trevor Zacko Christensen and Craig Priest take second, albeit 1 lap adrift. And then we move back to Cameron Dance and Taylor Oakes grabbing 3rd in the car 3. Trevor Wilson and Simon Cribb taking 4th. And then we move back to the David Stevens, Rob Derrick entry. David just drifting us slightly there. Brings the car round and out onto the big long straight with a gentle bend before pit lane entry. That is Kyalami. He takes 5th place. Well done to Rob and Dave. And the Bramley Siverson entry is in the shed. It has taken 6th place. There's a bit of light flashing going on there. Cameron Dance doing what he used to be notorious for till we threatened to break his fingers. After the checkered flag drops, it doesn't really matter. And trying to do a jump, look at that. Animal mechanical, and happened to bounce to allow the other car underneath. Dave Stevens, I'm not sure quite what he's doing, searching for rubber in case the car's underweight. He's wobbling all around the place. So I'll sign off for tonight and say see you all again soon for round 3. The track announced on the night. The format, generally a 3-hour endurance race. Tonight we did cut it short because of the disaster that tragically was the 1967 Spa-Francorchamps, where no one can run door handle to door handle at over 300 k's an hour safely. Signing off. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Have a lovely night.